Morning, everyone. Welcome to this morning's edition of the MPC Markets Morning Call. I'm Mark Gardner. It's the 10th of March, 2026. Would you believe stocks ended higher? This time yesterday, there's no way anyone would have been calling that. And oil, even more so, oil actually down on the day. Got back down to 83. It's currently around the 88 mark. As Trump held one of the more entertaining, meandering and just truth-ish press conferences I've ever seen. But he declared a quick win in Iraq. I think the actual phrase was it was very complete. I don't know, or more than complete, or something like that. So essentially, we had a bit of a bounce back, really led by tech overall. Those industrials have got really hammered by obviously the fuel prices and things. The prospect of fuel prices being high, like cat, etc. And John Deere getting back higher. The software and the tech sector all continued to head higher as well. That cyber area, the market's still doing very well. HIMS, the online prescriptions people came to a deal with Novo Nordisk overnight. They're up 43%, their largest one-day gain in history. Novo putting a few conditions on it, but overall there was that was a huge result for them, and they're going to work together. And that's really reversed 8 months of sort of really heavy legal conflict. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's just quite remarkable. Never in my life have I seen any, the markets do this. Our poor old SPY yesterday was nearly down 4%, or may have been down 4% at one stage. The Asian market really copied the brunt of it. So we did get up to nearly $118 or something in crude, and then we've come all the way back down. So you kind of almost, this market here on these bar charts is at the close of their cash. So realistically, they're just going to turn around today. So we're going to recoup all of that. The SPY's up 2% or so already. I don't think we'll go back to the levels we were prior, because I don't necessarily think that Trump, anyone actually kind of believes Trump necessarily. But as I outlined yesterday in the morning call, and you can go back and check if you like, I said, but these Monday Asian panic sessions are the single worst time to ever make a decision for your portfolio. And I said towards the end of the podcast yesterday, don't make any big decisions today. He can't afford to lose with primaries and midterms coming up. He can't afford to lose the House and the Senate, which polling is suggesting that he's going to. So he will have to make a quick announcement that is very positive in terms of a quick resolution. He cannot afford. He campaigned on reducing living costs, and as much as he said, this doesn't affect America, we've got enough gas and oil, our new partner in Venezuela. It was some of the most one of the reasons we're a little bit late this morning is we were watching the press conference, and we're still wiping the tears from our eyes laughing at some of the statements that were made this morning. But he actually said that doing this with Iran was helping the world. Having the Strait of Hormuz back open, which it's not, but he said it is really doing China a favour. He said that he had a phone conversation with Putin, and Putin was complimenting his generals. I mean, it was just one of the more just eye-opening levels of BS I've ever seen in my life. So look, silver risk on has come back a little bit, as has copper, as has platinum. So that crude bar chart is only 23% now for 5 days, but it was at one point yesterday morning 55%. That's how far it's come back. Lithium and uranium still down on the week, but making a minor recovery. As I said, now there's a bit of a I wouldn't say the coast is clear, because Trump's saying something like that, and then it actually being true is possibly setting the market up for a false sense of security, and then another leg down, because we do need to watch like whether any of the things that he said come true. Like, and I mean any of them. It was one of the most remarkable levels of meandering we've ever seen. I'm just in general shock. But I mean, this is what happened yesterday morning. This is where we got up to the highs around that 120 mark, and we were sort of drifting back off a little, leading into our afternoon session. So we were back to about $100 when we shut yesterday on the ASX. Then all the way back down here. So I think this is an hourly chart overall, but quite an extraordinary move. I mean, that was a blow off top if ever I've seen one. We've seen similar in silver before, which I called at the time. That's just basically where there's a lack of liquidity. People are leveraged short or whatever, and it just hits a stop loss run to the upside in thin volume, basically. And that's what I mean about there being, the Asian Monday session when Big Brother's not open to provide liquidity. It's a Sunday night in the US. We tend to have a lot of these, and I don't know what necessarily the stats are, but I would, at a guess, definitely more than half of them end up just reversing. I would even speculate that 3/4 do just about, but very scary at the time. And the one day where it doesn't will be a very grim day if you try to fade it. But look, again, this is what we've been saying about the algos, or algorithmic trading systems, computerized trading and automated trading systems, coupled with plugged into AI and sentiment, sentiment filters, etc. Means that the market moves super, super fast. And has moves that are just where there is constant records. It would be like comparing, how long it took to cross America before cars were invented versus after cars were invented. Basically, it's like markets are extraordinarily different these days, and you really do have to have a firm grasp on your long-term investment thesis, and sometimes you're just going to have to put your head in the sand and watch, and if it's nothing to do with you, just, watch it, and don't make any knee-jerk decisions, because this move from there up to that top and back to here is the equivalent, and the same thing happened in silver, is the equivalent of a yearly move in a few hours. And it's not normal, and you will never be fast enough to react, and it often happens overnight. So you really got to widen your time frame a little bit and not buy into the panic so much, and which is very hard to do at the time. But the best way to get through and have that psychological solidarity and not get suckered into the fear is to make sure that you lock down your plan with a portfolio plan, and make sure that you're not just carrying positions that you're hopeful on. If the word hope comes in, then you're generally screwed. So we have, and this was something we were experimenting with. So we've set I've set some metrics basically, because I've noticed the press conference where he made up a copper tariff on the spot or blah blah blah. The length of them. I mean, I sit here every morning and have to listen to him do these press conferences, and and when he basically turned the ship around on firing Jerome Powell, press conference was like 30 seconds long, not taking any questions, bang, out. He hadn't announced that he was backing down from that, but there is an element of some of that, how much he rambles, how much hyperbole and exaggeration he uses, how much unfounded and anecdotal statements he uses, and then sort of finally a bit of a broad level of delusion. So we can literally feed the transcripts basically into this, and this will be a standard set of metrics. Today was, as I say, was a 5 out of 5 on all metrics. It was, the conversation weaved, it went on forever. Total victory with claims. The oil prices were coming down very fast. It's like he's rambling all over the place, all over social media. the level of hyperbole. We've wiped out every single force in Iran out. It's completely, all of their naval power has been like, and then just these, the examples I gave before about, doing China a favor, chatting with Putin. I mean, it's just multiple unflagged claims. And then when the reporters were given a chance to ask some questions, they were mainly trying to clarify what the hell he was talking about more than actually giving him any questions, which, to be honest, could maybe a tactic in itself. The level of delusion, which I like this metric, is the extreme grandiosity and reality divergence, and described the ongoing war and the global energy shock as a minor short excursion, and claimed that no president had the guts to do what he did. And look, if you had to count how many times he used the greatest in history, the best ever, like, it'd be somewhere in the thousands. So yeah, I'm going to keep this set of metrics because it really has been, it almost correlates to market moves, to be brutally honest. Sometimes we knew that he would have to do something like this, and just watch out for it next time, and a little bit of fun as well. So back to the real world, survivors and victims of agentic AI. Scan that QR code there. You can see our interactive HTML. We have had an overwhelmingly positive response to the webinar. We've only got about 40 spots left, actually, which when I set the amount, I laughed and thought that we'd get nowhere near, but response has been really big. So, in Trump's words, it's the greatest response in the history of webinars. But yeah, go and have a look at that site. You can scan that code and have a muck around with that map, and then you can register for the webinar, which I effectively will be hosting and interviewing our in-house expert Kai Chen tomorrow. But those stocks have done extraordinarily well. So yeah, again, you can have a look there. We've got an investment on that as well, and get Mosaic, and you can keep up to date. We've had we've had a number of updates about what the CPI effects would be, breaking news updates on on the moves in crude. We've been first on socials on a number of occasions, and as well as there being some actual meat to these articles and how it's going to affect, and our resident geopolitical expert, Jonathan Takadena, has been all over the Iran and the Venezuela thing. Call both of them, weeks in advance. So, do yourself a favor. It's actually free. You only have to pay for the recommendation services. You can get all the news on Mosaic and content for free. And if you want to then get the actionable ideas and the recommendations, then, it's less than a coffee a day at about $149 a month for all 4 services, and it gets delivered to the palm of your hand on your iPhone or your Android app or on your desktop. You get your first month free as well. So, sign up for that today. But, look, much better day than yesterday. If you took my advice and you didn't do anything yesterday, be thankful. Maybe it is a very good idea to, that you've probably been a touch lucky if you haven't done anything, and maybe a review of the portfolio would be a very, very smart idea just in case things escalate, because as you saw with that truthiness index, he was 5 out of 5 BS this morning. So there could be more to come from this geopolitical event. So very good day to go back through and do a little bit of work on your portfolio. Have a great day, guys, and we will speak again tomorrow. General advice warning. The content presented in this presentation is intended for informational purposes only and provides general advice only. It does not take into account your personal objectives, financial situation, or specific needs. This information should not be the sole resource when making investment decisions. We strongly recommend you seek the advice of a financial professional.